Hello, this is David Scott Peters with therestaurantexpert.com, and I want to talk to you about your next step. Let's start doing like we do in daily paperwork and budget our purchasing. Well, in this case, we're in the labor systems. We're not talking about purchasing, we're talking about using people's time. Because every time the clock goes tick, it's money out of whose back pocket? Yours. So scheduling on budget is extremely important. And remember, Smart Systems Pro is a proactive tool that allows you to go into next week on budget. We want to give you a system that is going to allow you to tell your managers how many dollars and how many hours they have to schedule next week to be on budget. The system knows that because my sales are higher from sales forecast, I need more hours for my hourly employees. The system knows that because my sales are forecasted to go out of season and go lower, you need to use less hours on your hourly employees. It allows you to control that variable expense. The system basically is set up that it uses last week's schedule that was completed in your point of sale system, how many hours people worked by position, whether regular hours, overtime hours, regular pay, overtime pay, so total hours and total pay. It's going to know what our average hourly wage is for all hourly employees. It's going to know what percentage of hours, like menu mix if you will, that 45.6% of all hours worked last week were servers. So when I schedule next week and I know how many hours I have, how many should they get allocated? About 45.6% of them. It knows the average hourly rate by position. I might have a $10 average hourly rate because I'm in the West Coast and I've got these high minimum wages. But I might have in my cooks $15 an hour average hourly wage. Or I might be in a tip credit state, say like Georgia, where I'm actually, at $2.13 an hour for servers, and I might have an average hourly wage of $8 an hour because I've got the $10, $12 an hour cooks and these $2.13 an hour servers. So that's going to be important for us. We've got all this information from last week. We're going to use that to schedule next week. So we use the right people in the right positions to handle the needs of the business. Now, let's go one step further with that. You've got some work that you've got to do before we can start to use this system. You've got to come in here and you need to audit your point of sale system. You cannot use this system. You cannot have it set up and work properly until you've gone and done this. Your point of sale system is usually your timekeeping system. So those of you who don't use a POS, if you use a separate or third company for your timekeeping, you're going to talk about or think about using it. But for 99.9% of us, we have a POS system. Well, when I say audit, make sure your employees are in the right job codes at the right pay rates. They're clocking in and out at the right job codes and the right pay rates. You need to look at that and edit your POS system. Now, I say you've got to do this before you start using it because think about it. Most of us, when we do our payroll, we simply grab our reports from our POS system and send the hours into payroll. You might have had an employee that's been working for you for 10 years, and do you know what the pay rate is in the POS system? The pay rate from 10 years ago when you first put them in, right? We didn't update the raises because we did it through the payroll company. Well, that's going to throw your numbers completely off. So make sure every employee is in the right position, right pay rates. As soon as that is done, let's say today is Wednesday, well, I can't use this system until I've had a full week of everybody in the right job codes. Because your POS system is a database. It will not go backwards and change the past. It's only going to move forward. So at what point in time, if you schedule from a Monday through Sunday, I can't use this system until I've had a full Monday through Sunday, people in the right job codes, right pay rate. What else do I need to do? I need to audit Smart Systems Pro. Make sure that whoever helped you set it up, meaning on your team, because we're asking all the right questions, it's whether or not we're just putting in what you've given us, or you've added things on your own as time gone on, are all my salaried managers in there at the right pay rates based on the way I pay, whether it's weekly or bi-weekly, semi-monthly, whatever it may be, the pay rate to match. Are all the salaried managers in there? Very important. If they're not, the system's not going to work. Do I have everybody in the right positions at the right pay rate in Smart Systems Pro? Well, if every time you put somebody in there and every time there's a change you're keeping up with this, there's really not much to do. But that first time through, audit it, make sure it's correct. Then on a weekly basis, you're going to run a report called the Labor Summary Report. It might be called something else in your point of sale system. It's just a listing of every job. Bussers, servers, cashiers, drivers, cooks, prep cooks, and so on. Regular hours reported, overtime hours reported, regular pay, overtime pay. You're just going to print that off. It's going to take you minutes. You're going to then enter it into Smart Systems Pro. It's going to take you minutes. In fact, this should take you start to finish, from getting the idea in your head to printing it off in the POS system, putting it in, grabbing your budget target, plugging it in, and bang, I know how many hours and dollars I have for next week to be on budget. Right here, 15 minutes. The power of this is what? We tend to schedule the same people, same shifts, week after week in our business. We are creatures of habit. But as I mentioned in the beginning, if my sales are higher next week, I may find that I've underscheduled 10 hours on my servers because I'm going into a holiday weekend. It says, managers, add more labor. Maybe I discover that because my sales are going down, I've overscheduled 20 hours in my kitchen. That could kill you. Well, it now gives your manager the ability to look at the schedule and start to clip out hours, whether it's stagger start some employees, whether I can do with one cook fewer on a certain day because as the chef I might jump on the line. I now have the ability to make changes to my schedule to go into the week on budget. Think of it this way. What's the benefit of the system? Well, instead of bringing 7 servers in to play grab ass at the time clock every Friday, and my sales are lower, right? And I'm going to bring them in because I'm going to pray that I'm busy. If I'm not busy, I'm going to send them home. Well, if I had 7 servers on for 3 hours and I start to see that I'm not busy and I send people home, it's too late. I've lost money. Instead, with the labor allotment system, you're going to see that you're overscheduled, and maybe you'll decide to bring in 2 servers at 4 o'clock to set up the restaurant, 1 at 4:30, the rest at 5 o'clock. Why? Because I'm going to go into the week using the hours I've been allocated without going over budget, and I still have 7 servers on. I'm going to make sure I handle the needs of the business and my guests get the best experience possible. What are we going to do for you? We're going to train you. We're going to train you. It's going to take no more than 15 minutes to train you how to do this, from printing it off on your POS system to entering it in, grabbing your budget target, and seeing. Going into your schedule or reverse labor system, depending on where you are in your journey, and making sure you can see how to easily edit that schedule. We're going to support you. You're not alone. Don't understand why or any of the steps or the next step in reverse labor system to edit that schedule? No problem. We have unlimited training support Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We want you to call all the time. We are here. If you can't use this system, you're not going to get the benefits. You're going to let one of the most powerful systems we have in the system, in our software slip through your fingers. I told you in videos in the past that the purchase allotment system I could pay for myself. Do you know what? The labor allotment system I could pay for myself as well. Literally, I want to get you 10 times return on investment, maybe more, unless you're somebody that's very profitable, you're just looking for some control. But the bottom line is this one system ensures you're not blowing money week after week. By the way, whose money is it? Every time somebody works, it's yours. And if you're the manager watching this and you say, it's not my money, I don't own the place, well, it is your money. It's the ability for you to add more people to your team because other people are using it, because you're working too hard. It's the ability to give your team a raise, but you can't do it because people are robbing you at the time clock because they're not following your rules. It's the ability for you to make a bonus. It's not just your owner's money, it's your money. If you want to take your business to the next level, you want to stay on budget, you want to control things and make sure you meet the needs of the business but stay within budget, give us a call. Let us help you with the labor allotment system.